Romania isn't just Transylvania and Dracula, there's also a tourist paradise in the towns of Constanza and Mamaia. The town of Constanza was founded in the 7th century BC as Tomis, and then it was renamed into Constantiana by the Roman Emperor Constantine around 300 AD after his sister. Jason and the Argonauts landed here after finding the Golden Fleece. You know the story about the Greek superheroes who sailed out to find the Golden Fleece to prove that Jason was the rightful king of Iolcus. Constanza was described as a poor Turkish fishing village with less than 10,000 people at the end of the 1800s. But it started to flourish in the 1920s with the export of oil, for example. The number of inhabitants grew in the following decades, and now there's around 300,000 people living here, and it's mostly a tourist town. Mamaia is an administrative district of Constanza, and it's quite popular with the tourists. It's also one of the hottest cities in Romania. I mean that literally, as in it's really hot and warm there. Mamaia is Romania's most famous resort town. Not that that says all that much, because Romania isn't really famous for beaches and glamour. I'd say it's pretty comparable to Bulgaria though, and it's strange because Bulgaria is very famous as a resort place, but I've never heard about this one before. When I say that Bulgaria is famous, I mostly mean that it's famous among fat Russians and Swedish kids who want cheap booze. The climate here is classified as humid subtropical, which means that it's bloody hot. Mamaia Boulevard is a really long strip along the beach filled with, well, everything you find at these beach resorts. Restaurants, beach clubs, shops, there's nothing that will surprise you. But still, it's pretty fun to walk around and enjoy the sun here. Bloody hell, that has got to be the rustiest water slide I've ever seen. Hey, Amsterdam Comic Geek, here's a place for you. Constanza is the twin town of quite a few cities, Yokohama in Japan for example, and Turku in Finland. Also Fort Lauderdale and Shanghai and Rotterdam and Odessa. The concept of twin towns is pretty weird. It started after the bombing of Coventry in World War II. The idea was to create a bond between cities that had similar devastating events happen to them. It's used to boost the tourism in both cities, and also for political and diplomatic reasons. Fun fact, Pitești in Romania is twin city to Borlänge in Sweden, and Borlänge is the ugliest town in Sweden. In the middle of Constanza there's a really nice archaeological park with lots of findings from Roman times. Parts of a Roman city wall can be found here as well. They did a really good job of displaying the items and adding information about each piece as well. But there's a victory monument from 1968 in the park, and that really spoils the archaeological feel a little bit. The first version of the Genoese Lighthouse was built in the 1300s, but this one was rebuilt in 1860. It was given its name to honor the many Genoese merchants that were sailing the Black Sea back then. It's 8 meters tall and it was in use until 1910. And yeah, that's about it. I have nothing else to tell about this lighthouse. The Constanza Casino was built in 1880 in wood. Then it was torn down. Then it was rebuilt, and then it was torn down again, and then rebuilt in 1910 in an Art Nouveau style. And it looked a bit better in the photos compared to what I'm seeing today. The casino was used as a hospital during World War I and World War II, and then it was transformed into a house of culture by the communists in 1948. For a long time, 10 million euros dedicated to the restoration of the casino have been locked in a litigation process. But from the looks of it, maybe the casino will be getting a renovation now. Behind me is the House of Lions, the Casa Azulei, because of, well, the lions on top of it. The Masonic Lodge used to have meetings here in the 19th century, but by now it's abandoned. Still, quite a gorgeous house. The Carol Mosque, or the Great Mosque, was a gift from King Carol I to the Muslim population of Constanza in 1910. It was the first concrete building in Romania, but I'm not sure if that's all that much to celebrate. This is Ovid Square, quite a central place in Constanza. In 8 AD, the Roman poet Ovid was exiled here by Emperor Augustus. He lamented the 8 years he had to spend here in Constanza, or Tomis as it was called back then. He described his woes in poems like Tristia and Epistulae ex Ponto. Let me read you from Tristia. From there may she sail in safety to the Milesian city Tomis, where the anger of an injured god has sent me. Uplifting stuff, isn't it? Well, that's about it for my little look at Constanza and Mamaia, the tourist capitals of Romania. Like and subscribe, but most importantly, have a great day.